Wow. Parked it for 2 days. It's already got spider webs on it. My God. Good morning, everybody. Here with Clutch here, Sodak Motorcycle Blog. This is like August 27th? Or is it 28th? I can't remember what day it is, but it's 7:15 in the morning. It's a beautiful Saturday morning. And we are heading up to Wyoming today. Gonna do a quick overnight camping trip. Going out today, coming back tomorrow. So it's gonna be kind of a fast and furious trip, but it won't be too long of a trip. We're heading to the Bighorns, so we're gonna spend the night at a little place called Ten Sleep. They got a craft brewery up there in Ten Sleep called the Ten Sleep Brewery. And I mean, what more could you ask for? Craft beers and a place to sleep it off. I think that's a pretty good deal to me. Also, at this moment in 2022, the camping rates are $18 a night, so you really can't beat that. So we're gonna head towards Wyoming and have a nice little day of fun. Probably do about 400 miles today. We'll have the fun today because tomorrow morning when we wake up, it's get back home and get everything put away, get ready to go to work on Monday morning. So it's a very quick day out, day back kind of trip. But it is a beautiful morning this morning though. It is 64 degrees. No clouds in the sky. It's actually not terribly humid either. Last few mornings we've dealt with some humidity, some fog, good chances of rain. We got barely anything last night, but there are a lot of places around us got a bunch more. There was a tornado up west of Belfouche and Spearfish for a bit. So last night was definitely an eventful night. I was trying to do some of my pre-packing last night, but I really didn't because I didn't want to pull my wife's vehicle out of the garage in case it started hailing. Because normally what would happen is the wife's car would just sit outside last night and I'd get everything in the garage ready to go. Well, problem was, well, Mother Nature had other plans, but fortunately we didn't have to deal with too much stuff, so. But yeah, the next day it's a nice morning, that's for sure. Let's hope the day stays sunny like this. Let's hope we don't deal with too much stuff, and let's hope the same thing tomorrow morning. And I really don't want to wake up in the mud. Especially that Wyoming mud. Well, heck, I suppose I'm going to start running down the road here and I'll check in with you a little bit later. Well, hello again. We've made it into Wyoming. Normally I would have stopped at the sign and be like, hey, Wyoming sign, but either the state of Wyoming has removed the sign or someone removed it for them. Either way, there was no sign at the border, so no cool pictures at the border. The traffic lights up here, those are for Sturgis Rally. That's what those are for. Because it does get quite busy out here when you get to the Sturgis Rally. That's for sure. Considering we're right on the road that takes you to Devil's Tower. This is the scenic route to Devil's Tower. You could take the interstate, go down through Sundance, but usually this is a pretty good trip for the loop back or going there. Personally, I like this road both ways because honestly it's a lot more scenic than an interstate, that's for sure. And yeah, I just let the cat out of the bag of Devil's Tower. I was going to kind of keep that close hold, but yeah, we're going to go by Devil's Towers today too, so it's kind of a, I guess, a Devil Horn run, as in Devil's Tower to the Bighorn Mountains, I think we'll call that. Kind of play on words. They also have every Labor Day, actually next weekend, they'll have what's called the Devil's Stone Rally, which leaves from Devil's Tower, goes to Sheridan the first day, goes to Cody the second day, and then ends up in near the Grand Teton National Park on the final day. Would like to do that run someday, although usually for me September Labor Day weekend, that's pretty much a weekend that I always keep free because that's Mustang Rally weekend, and my mom and sometimes my dad will usually come out for it. She's got a 5.0 Mustang. Actually, if you remember right from last year, I actually did a video of us riding around in it. I might just put a link somewhere on the screen if I remember to. I'll probably forget, so my apologies. But so usually Labor Day weekend that's the open weekend that you don't go anywhere. So at least for the foreseeable future. Although if there's ever a year that Mom and Dad decide they're not doing Mustang Rally, yeah, I'm definitely gonna check out the Devil's Stone run. But anyways, let's keep moving along down the road. I'll tell you, this is one of my favorite parts of the Black Hills right here. Riding through here, this little stretch, I always love it. Partly because I don't get up here a lot. I don't get here as much as you think that I would. Problem is I got so many great rides that are so close to me, so it's kind of hard to... You always forget about Devil's Tower. Plus, you get out here on them hot summer days and it can get downright nasty out here because it just gets so blasted hot. Usually Devil's Tower runs are usually safe for September, maybe October, April, May. Those are usually the best times to go. You know what, I gotta say, it does amaze me. It is kind of funny that I actually go places to ride just because of what I have at home. Like, I just enjoy the fact so much we got such great riding at home. And, you know, I was reminded of this last night with it being Sturgis Rally just ended 2 weeks ago, and you know, the amount of, you know, YouTube content you see from Sturgis is, you got tons of it, and it always strikes me when I hear other motor vloggers talk about how great the roads are here and how good they are and how special they are. I was watching a New Law on Motorcycle video last night, and she even made the comment of that the Dragon was nothing compared to, you know, Needles Highway, which, or the pigtail, or to Iron Mountain Road. Now, I mean, I don't know how much that's prisoner in the moment, but the other interesting thing is Meg's Motorcycle Journey, who was riding with her, she basically made the comment that the Dragon's overrated, and our roads are one of a kind and probably the best roads in the world. So when you hear people that have rode other places and say that about our roads, it brings a lot of pride to it really makes me proud, you know. It really makes me thankful I live where I live. Like I've always thought the one thing that always sets Sturgis apart from the other rallies is the Sturgis rally has some phenomenal riding. Now, like for some of us, it's not as phenomenal during rally because all the traffic, whatever, but if you're someone that's used to riding in traffic all the time, riding during the rally doesn't bother you because, you know, you're used to traffic. But it always amazes me. It always makes me happy. And I ain't gonna lie, there are times when you're like, you know, I don't know where to go. I get tired of the same roads over and over. Even the great roads that we have, it's a thing. I mean, it definitely happens. But one thing that always brings me back is when I watch those videos during rally, when I hear people that aren't from here and hear them describe the roads around our neck of the woods, and that's what always snaps me back. I love the fact that I don't have to ride hours and hours for awesome rides. Like I can literally get off work at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. By 4:30, I'm in the hills. Like I can ride these awesome roads on a Tuesday night, you know. And I'm so thankful that I get to have that opportunity. It's so awesome to know that. Although when you hear people talk about it's kind of hard to not do a little, you know, like, yep, that's right. That's right. But yeah, I figured the rally atmosphere is all the same. It doesn't matter where you go for a rally. But like I said, the Sturgis rally, we got the one thing that trumps everything, the Black Hills and the best riding in the world. And just look at the amount of people that do, you know, you look at YouTube videos from Daytona and what are they all? Just walking up and down Main Street looking at weird bikes, right? Look at most of the videos from Sturgis Rally. You know what? Most of them, at least half of them have riding. Riding. Yeah, you come to Sturgis and party and all, but you also come to Sturgis to do some serious riding on some of the best rides in the world. Hey. Well, welcome to Gillette, everybody. Or as the truck driver I worked at Walmart once referred to it, Gillette. It's Gillette, like the razor. Just going by downtown here, the big old first interstate skyscraper, the only one in town. Got some fuel here, recharge the cooler with ice. And problem is I got the little Playmate on there, and well, you're always having to recharge it with ice because it just melts so quick. My Yeti would be better, but my Yeti's way too heavy. My Yeti is way too heavy. That's a terrible rhyme. Actually, what I need to do is I need to just break down by the soft-sided Yeti so it's not as heavy. But for now, we'll just keep feeding ice to it. And Gillette, well, Gillette's claim to fame as well, energy. As in the center of coal, and also a good chunk of natural gas and oil. And actually, not so much natural gas, more coal bed methane than anything. But oh, they got a pizza ranch now. That's cool. Boy, that would have been nice when I worked here. That's the other thing. I also used to work here back in the day. Started here in 2007, worked here through 2008. Worked for an oil field services company called BJ Services. Yes, that was the legitimate name, BJ Services. And not the BJ you're thinking of. That would be Byron Jackson, the founder of the company way back when. Basically oil field, so you drill a well and, well, you gotta cement the casing. So that was one thing we did, is cement the casing. I did a lot of those jobs. And when it's ready to pump, well, you can't quite open up the spigot and let it go. You got to send some fluid down in there to break up the shale, especially in North Dakota. Get the oil trapped in the shale out of there, and that's what's called a frac job. And that was another thing we did. So sidetrack, but I can't get over the price of fuel here. God, it's like 60 cents cheaper here. Freaking ridiculous. Oh, that used to be a Burger King. Things change, man. But anyways, so my schedule was I would come out for 2 weeks. They'd put you up in a hotel. You'd be paid for the whole 2 weeks. Granted, it was only $5.15, but when you factored in the overtime, it made different. It was decent money. I mean, at the time, it was about $40,000 a year, which, you know, nowadays that ain't a lot, but back in 2007, 2008, that was before the financial crisis. That was decent money around here, and it was pretty decent quality of life. I mean, yeah, it sucked you had to frack and everything else, but and work in the oil field, but the 2 weeks off were what made that job worthwhile. We'd run Sunday through Saturday. You'd show up on Sunday about 8 in the morning, and we'd usually bug out on Saturday about noon. And you'd have the next 2 weeks for your 2 weeks. Now, usually, obviously, I'd factor in a guard drill and all that stuff into it, but still, you know, it was nice to have that much time off in a row. You could do a lot of things. But in the end, the crew I was on, what they did, that actually went away about the time right after I left. Basically, they closed down the Gillette yard, moved everything to Dickinson, North Dakota, and you knew damn well that everything was gonna go. Excuse me. You knew damn well everything was, like, that whole flex crew was gonna go away, and sure enough, about 8 months after I quit, it did. So I feel like I got out of there at the perfect damn time. But anyways, it's all worked out in the end, so it's a pretty good little deal for those that year and a half, though. That was pretty sweet. Unfortunately, I didn't learn the lesson of not to work in the oil field, because I went back a few years later to haul water. Well, after that foray, I finally figured out, yeah, don't work in the oil field. And I would recommend that to each and every one of you, unless you have nothing else going. And here's the thing, right now there's plenty of jobs out there, so find a job at home. Because yeah, the oil field's good money, but man, when everything collapses, man, it's not good at all. And it can collapse in an instant. So if you do go outfield, I have this recommendation for you: save your money. Save every last bit of money that you absolutely can. So that way when it goes to hell, which it will, you can support yourself till you find another job. Baker Hughes still owns that yard. We didn't work out of the yard, but that was one of our yards. They also don't like to mow the lawn at Baker Hughes, apparently. So that was an old Western, I think, Services yard. And BJ bought them out, but they didn't move the yard there because we had another yard on the other side of town. So it was kind of our storage yard slash, like, that's where I practiced vacuum before I went to go get my CDL, which is one of the things they did too, is they put you through CDL school. So I got a lot of good things out of that job, I think. So I can't complain. Anyways, let's keep rolling. Well, guess what? There's the, well, you probably can't see it in my camera, but I'm seeing the bighorn, so we're coming up on them now. But it's still a little hard to see there in the haze, but we're definitely getting closer now. And we're in this kind of beautiful little valley right here. I think this is Clear Creek Valley we're in, but nice beautiful little valley here. All the alfalfa fields. Kind of weird, but there's something about, there was a guy cutting alfalfa back there, and man, I love the smell of alfalfa when it's cut. I just love the smell of it. I apologize, I'm kind of listening to a football game here as well, which it's crazy to me. It's August 27th, but you know, I keep thinking, man, it can't be football season yet, but then again, it is August 27th. Like, it's almost the end, man. Next weekend is Labor Day weekend. Hard to believe. Cool little area here, that's for sure. Like I said, this is a lot better than taking the interstate, because like you don't see any of this if you go along the interstate. I-90 basically, it's just kind of, you get to the Powder River, but the Powder River, there ain't much green around it. It's pretty desert kind of style, sandy. So but it's a little different of a route. I was thinking about going Spotted Horse, but unfortunately Spotted Horse don't open till 11, and it was 10:45 when I was going through there, and I didn't want to just hang around there for 15 minutes waiting. Plus, you know, that's kind of sets a weird start, or hear that guy that just hung around here for 15 minutes, like, so anyways, keep riding on here, keep enjoying this little valley here.